Niaje, umefanya fiti kuklik hii video. Nataka kuongea na wewe specifically. And today we are talking about money. And money comes in different forms. You know, you can have money in different forms, in different ways. But leo tutabonga kuhusu riches and wealth. And najua most of you talk about I want to be rich, I want to be wealthy. But you really understand what the difference is. Again, mimi husema I'm not an expert in these things, but what I talk about ni vitu nime experience, things that I've learned from observing others and from doing them myself. Imagine siku moja your grandparent akupigia simu akuambia mjukuu wangu, I want to show you something, and out they take you to an estate hujaijua ina exist, and they tell you this estate is worth millions of shillings or billions of shillings, and after I leave this world, this is all yours, it's yours to spare. Utafeel aje? Of course utafeel fiti. You stop worrying about your future, your kids' future, because why? Someone thought about you, now can invest on your behalf. Did you know that you can do the same for your kids and your kids' kids? You can become wealthy, but unfortunately most of us want to be rich. Again, what is riches and what is being wealthy? Being rich is having money, a lot of money, a lot of cash. You can be rich by having a high paying job. Most Kenyans wako na job mzuri, they get paid and they are rich. They live luxurious lives. Wanaishi kwa nyumba mzuri, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, they drive good cars, they take their kids to the best schools around. You know, ukiangalia huyu jamaa unaona yenyewe msee ameumuka, and we envy that. And that's someone who is rich. But being rich does not mean you are wealthy. Many rich people are in their negatives, which means whatever you earn versus what you spend does not match. You spend more than you earn, and you're always in debt, yet you are rich. But being wealthy, you may not have a lot of money in your bank, but you just have enough you need to spend. The rest you put it in asset, accumulating asset, building your wealth. Unaweza angalia msee anaendesha Probox, he doesn't dress so lavishly, akai kwa nyumba kubwa na gari si kubwa, but ile mali yule msee ako nayo, it's so much. The money is working for him. That is being wealthy. And kitu moja nimekam kurealize na Kenyans is that those people who have a small income, they end up being wealthier than those people who had a big income. Reason is people get pressure, they make bad decisions, and they end up overspending the high income. But our watu wenye kona low income, small income, they end up investing, and with time they accumulate wealth. So nikafikiria, and I thought about my kids and my kids. Kwetu hatukukuwaga wealthy. And in my videos, for those who follow my lifestyle, you know, once in a while I can up a video about explaining my life, and I will. So I thought, and what can I do different? I didn't want to be rich or to look rich. I wanted to be wealthy. But I work in Nairobi, and Nairobi is one of the most expensive cities in Kenya. Of course, nikianza kukimbizana na lifestyle ya Nairobi, I won't make it. So I had to make some very big decisions, and I'm gonna tell you, this is what I did. I don't know, this is not a textbook, or I'm not telling you to do this, but this is my experience. Na imenisaidia. So we're just talking, real talk here. So one thing I had to figure out is that there's a lot of pressure that comes from living in Nairobi. One, need too many friends, right? because friends are good, but some take you to places you don't want to be, or they take you to places knowing wewe ndio uta come through for them. You know, ujaiona mtu ana come up na plan, anakuweka kwa plan ambayo anyway. So one thing I had to do is to cut friends, and I had to select friends that I can do things with. And I came up with this thing where I asked guys, let's do this, let's contribute this amount of money, and then after a few months we can do something. And I tell you what, most people agree, but when it comes to execution, they don't. So I ended up having like 2 friends, and that's it. Number 2, I avoided this, let me call it, I won't call it nonsense because other people do it and it's their lifestyle, but for me, I do not like this pressure ambayo you have to think that lazima ununue nyumba Nairobi. And that's the biggest lie, one of the biggest lies we have been sold. Wazazi wetu ndio walituambia hizi vitu, that ukipata job, you marry, you get a house, nini na nini, and all those things. So I sat down and talked to myself, and I said, how can I create wealth? How can I create wealth? And I'm gonna do many parts of this video because I don't want it to be too long as nisowabo. And what I wanted to talk to you this day is, I did a video where I posted how you can invest, and I took Joy to Malindi, and it was a 3-part video, and you saw it, and most of you came to me and asked me, how can I get land this place? Now those ambao wameni approach nimewaambia, but I'm sure most of you wonder, why did I choose Malindi? Why did I choose so place ikombani? One of the reasons is I've always wanted to create something for myself, for my kids, and my kids' kids. Basically, what I'm saying is I wanted to create generational wealth, whereby if after leaving this world, my family will thank me for many years that I did this for them. And one of the way I did that is I took my head out of investing in Nairobi, because most people wamefikiria that once you live in Nairobi you have to invest in Nairobi, you have to do, but I will tell you the problem with that. Investing in Nairobi, no, Nairobi ishapitwa na wakati wake for us, for our generation, and this is why. Wakati babu zetu walikuwa nakuja Nairobi, places like Kiambu, places like Utawala, places like Kajiado, you could find land inauzwa so cheap, like 5,000, 10,000. Uko places ka Karen. But right now, if you go to a place like Karen or Kiambu, you can't get land less than 20 million. Kiambu unaweza pata maybe 10 million and 8. If you want to build yourself in Nairobi, you'll have to part with 10 million to buy an 8. 10 million can buy so much somewhere else. This is just me thinking now when I was sitting down. I was given a story of a man in Kiambu who has about 200 acres of tea. But nikasikia yeye ukata kidogo anauza. Do you know that the person bought land back then was 5,000 an acre? Right now, if he was to sell an acre, he wouldn't sell anything less than 20 million. You see, you can do the math. So this guy is already a billionaire, but I think last time aliuza shamba aliuza kama 50 acres, sasa amebaki na kama 150 or I'm not quite sure with the details, but someone showed me na akanipatia story. It's an old mzee, but he's super rich. So I thought, where can I buy land? Where can I invest? My first option was Nanyuki. But then I did a bit of research, and then whatever I wanted to do, I'm not going to tell you what I wanted to do, but because I'm still in the process of doing it. But then I thought doing it in Nanyuki will not really come through the way I wanted. So I started thinking about other places. So when I was working in South Sudan, I happened to fly and live in Lokichogio, to Turkana as well, and I saw massive land, and I became so interested. But then uko the hostility that is there is too much. Then an opportunity came. It popped out that a friend of mine akanipeleka Malindi, and I happened to see this vast land, and I got interested with the coastal region. I started looking at Diani, you know, started looking at Mombasa, Lamu, Kilifi County. So after doing a bit of research and a lot of research, because you want to invest somewhere that's safe, I ended up choosing Malindi because one, as I told you, land is super cheap huko hivi, genuine, and I bought the amount of land I bought. If you have been seeing my video, you know. And because I have a plan for this. So that's my reason for choosing. Why did I choose Malindi? It's because of that. I want to create generational wealth, which with so many plans. I have so many plans in the back. I cannot say everything, but this is to tell you, or maybe help you think outside. Forget about Nairobi, outside town. Let's think about that. Let's think about moving outside town. Forget about Nairobi. There's nothing wrong with renting a house in Nairobi, as long as you're developing somewhere else. Because after you retire, or even if you don't retire, you're going to an empire, a ranch. You could even have 50 acres somewhere, and you do so many things. Let's think about creating wealth instead of looking rich. Sijui kama make point, but I think I have. So let's meet next episode, next video, and talk about more about investment and things ambazo umelearn. Drop a comment there, the things you have learned. If you haven't learned anything, but you like the video, watch a like up, share with your friends, and tujengane manze, because I said if I've learned something, I must give it to those people who have, because we were given an ideology. We were lied to that you must have a house, so you end up rushing for a mortgage, rushing to buy expensive things because you want to look like you have achieved in something. But you find that after retirement, that's the only thing you have achieved, because you have spent your entire 30 years paying for something you couldn't afford. Yet the same amount of money could have been invested somewhere else and have accumulated wealth that you could have left for your generation. Imagine uko na watoto watatu na wachia nyumba moja iko South Sea. Ama uko na watoto wanne umewachia sijui nyumba wapi. Something you have paid for your entire life. Yet you can create wealth that can be used generation after generation. Think about that. I'll see you.